Hi, I am Argo Banerjee. I am the founder of the Levelfield School. In this video and in many subsequent videos, I'll be talking about our unique approach that we take at the Levelfield School. Many people are interested in knowing about it. Many founders of other schools who are aiming to set up new schools, principals of other schools, sometimes parents who have school-going children. All of them are interested in our approach because we have been talked about quite a lot by the media. A lot of people have hailed this approach to be quite revolutionary. Our results have been exceptional. So because of all of these reasons, people are quite curious. Many people ask me, why did I set up the school also? Now, for that, that's a very pertinent question because my background is very different from a typical school head of school background. A typical head of school background is a career academic, somebody who has spent his or her whole life in teaching. Actually, that's precisely the problem, because if education has to prepare one for real life, then somebody who has spent his or her whole life in teaching is not adequately exposed to real life outside of academia to prepare students for the challenges that are ahead. Okay. My background though is quite different. I spent about 8 years as the head of an equity research firm in Hyderabad and Chennai. Before that I was an investment banker. So post my graduation from IIT Kharagpur and MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, that also is very unique. Typically you will not see an engineer MBA running a school. So all of that is quite different and unique, and that also reflects in the unique methodologies that our school follows. Now, a lot of those unique methodologies owe themselves to my own experience as a student. So I was a good student, and I did quite well in my 10th standard, 12th standard. I was a state ranker in the boards of 10th standard, 4th precisely, 5th in the 12th standard, 8th in the West Bengal joint entrance examination in engineering. So that's a lot of ranks. Now, this is the purpose of this is not to brag, but to talk about how those ranks came about and how those experiences that I had as a student shaped our school's methodology. So, how those ranks came about. I was a voracious reader. I read a lot in my childhood, not textbooks, but any book that I could lay my hands on. I read lots of Bengali books. There is almost no Bengali author that I haven't read. Lots of English books as well, story books, non-fictions, magazines, newspapers. I have been reading newspaper from the age of 6. So I read a lot. Now what that reading does to you is that you become quite adept at reading and understanding something. Your world expands, your concentration gets better. And as your world expands and you have the ability to understand things by reading, then when it comes to an exam, let's say a board exam, where you have to read a 200-page history textbook, or let's say for your 12th standard, a 400-page economics textbooks, that's nothing for you. That's a week's work, because you can read and understand it yourself. And again, what reading does to you is that it builds your writing skills as well. The more you read, the more you imbibe lots of different writing styles. All of those fit into your own writing style, and you develop the ability to write independently, have your own thoughts. So all that is required in certain exams, probably towards the social science and humanities side, let's say history, economics, English, those exams, is that you have the ability to read, and you have the ability to read and process that, and you have the ability to write answers independently, so that any question that comes in the exam, you have read it, you understood it, and you can write an independent answer. You don't have to read other people's notes. You don't have to memorize, certain suggested answers to certain questions that might come in the exam. Anything that comes, you are prepared for this because you are meta prepared. Okay, you are overall prepared for anything that comes. Similarly, a similar approach I adopted for math. So a story will be interesting here. So what happened was, after my 12th standard, looking at my very good rank in the engineering entrance examination and also in the 12th standard board exam, there were a lot of visitors to my house. And a lot of those visitors were predictably parents of the students of then class 11, 10, those who were studying in those classes. And again, predictably enough, they wanted my notes. They wanted, my solved papers, the sums in mathematics, physics, etc. that I solved. They wanted all of that. That to them was the secret of success. But when I told them that I don't have any of those, because what I actually used to do was to solve the sums on a sheet of paper, A4 sheet, and after I had solved them, I would throw those sheets away. That was quite natural to me, because my argument was that I have to, I am gaining problem solving skills by solving those. The sheets are not going to be there with me during an exam. Anytime I have to solve it, the ability must be there with me rather than those sheets. So I would never keep those things. I'll never revise it. If I have to do that sum again, I'll not refer back. I'll just try to do it again. So that approach was quite shocking for people, but that really works, because just like reading, what you are doing is that you are effectively developing logical thinking orientation, problem solving, and by reading Voracious, as I mentioned earlier, you're developing again ability to read, ability to understand, ability to write. So with these skills, with this set of skills, you can conquer any exam, and you can actually conquer that very well. So it's that approach that I used in Levelfield. So Levelfield follows this meta skills approach. The big focus is reading and math, development of those skills in the initial years, development of reading skills, ability to read independently, love for reading, development of thinking orientation, logical reasoning, and problem solving skills in mathematics. So those are the big skills that we focus on between class 1 to 8. So much so that we do not have any textbooks in class 1 to 8. We use textbooks only for the Cambridge board exams in class 9 and 10. But before that, there are no textbooks. It's solely our own independent approach towards those skill building. Now, how we do that, I'll come to that in subsequent videos. Those are also quite elaborate methods. Complicated things, because development of reading, development of problem solving, if those had been so easy, all the schools, any parents, any students would have done it. So those are difficult. What is easy, what is typically people find easy, is memorization. Teacher tells the students, well, read this 15 pages of the physics chapter, read this 20 pages of the history chapter. That's easy instruction for teachers to give, easy instruction for the students to follow. So that's what is done in most of the schools. That produces suboptimal results. Okay, that doesn't produce the skills that are required, not just for the 20th century, but it was not even useful for the 20th century back then. So that's why in Levelfield we focus on reading and math hugely, skill building, and as I said, more on these on the subsequent videos. Thank you for listening. Thank you.